another nice rope. Ooh. Morning guys, how you all diddling? All good I hope? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're down at Ludham again. It's on the green stretch to the right of the bridge. It's 3 degrees this morning. I just got down here, finished setting up. I've had about 8 fish. It's been a chuck. I've just literally been finding my feeder line and clipping up. Not been putting any bait through the feeder, but I just put a bit of a worm on just to see if it'll take worm. I've had 3 or 4 fish, 1 perch, a couple of roach, and I've just finished setting the whip line up on a 6-metre whip and a 7-metre whip. I haven't set the 7-metre whip up yet, but I'm going to do that in a minute. The 6-metre whip, I've got like a 3/4 of a gram Avon style stick float on here, and I've just got it basically shirt button style today. Say it's really cold. 2/3 of a gram stick. I've got a couple of shots underneath if I want to bring them down, but it's basically number 8s all the way down the rig, spread out in like foot intervals. You can see that number 8 stots, tiny little stots, and there's a bite on the feeder. Oh, sorry about that guys. We're in. I've not had a chuck in yet, well I haven't had a fish. And another roach. It's always good fishing here, always good fishing. I'll just put this here. The worm seems to be doing well this morning, so I didn't want to put any through the ground bait initially, just in case I didn't want it. Yeah, so I've got basically it's 0.10 main line, Garbolino G line, and that's running all the way down to a 0.8 hook link, and I've got a size 20 Gamakatsu black hook on there. And they're just spread nicely throughout the whole rig. So a really slow, steady fall of the bait. And then the other one, when it's just started to flow, because the river's really high, it's just come over the bank in a tiny bit in places, not where I am. I'm going to put up a small flat float, I think, or a heavier float with a bolt down. But I'll quickly show you the feeder rig. I've got my Shakespeare Daiwa Tornado Z Porky Pig feeder rod. But I've only got a tiny 1/2 ounce tip in it, fiberglass tip, really light. It's got a small cage feeder. I've just put some extra strips of lead on there. It's not flowing at the minute, but I've got tons of feeders. And on this rig, I've got 1 feeder stop above, so I can lock it down. I've got 1 there, and I've got about 1 foot to the feeder. It's got a little bead there, just to cushion it, and I've got 2 feeder stops below. And a hook link. It's 2.8 pound Maxima, and I've got a size 14 Kamasan B520 on there. And I'm just using a section of worm and a single pinky. And I'll quickly show you worm fishing. Same old usual spot. Right, put a fresh piece of worm on first. Getting a nice dendrobina I'm just nipping the head off. I'll keep that section. Then I'm going to thread the worm down and around the hook. Thread it in the end I've just cut. Thread it all the way around. We've got a nice big bit of worm, but I don't want all that. Just going to nip it off, and then I'm going to get a single live pinky, just nip it through the tail, the skinny end. Just like that. And I've just basically, all I've got in the ground bait today is a few dead squats, but nothing else. Yeah, I've got a really fine, light, fluffy ground bait today, just enough so I can just squeeze it and then it just breaks apart. But it's quite fish meal and very sweet. Got loads of molasses in there, loads of hemp water. It's 50-50 brown and green crumb with crushed expanders. There's coriander, crushed hemp, and some desiccated coconut, but I milled it really fine and light. Just squeezing that into the feeder quite hard because it's very light, and I'm just cutting up the ends of the worm, and I'm just filling the feeder as I go with a few casters, pinch of casters. And a few dead maggots and about 3 bits of corn. I'm just going to basically fish per cast. 1 cast, 1 fish, hopefully. So again, basically I'm just aiming, gentle overhead lob. I'm just aiming for the apex, the corner of that house. Just a steady lob, pull it back. Dip the rod under the water, quickly sink the line. It's not flowing at all at the minute, it's very light flow. There is, isn't there? They didn't have time to touch the bottom before.
They didn't even hit the bottom.
No, no. It's in like seconds.
Yeah.
What's up?
Nothing off the terrain, eh? Not the rush, that's why. Don't rush,
Don't
no
rush.
rush.
Take your
They
time.
can't go on the rang this morning.
He's only sat there, you don't need to ring him.
Andrew, I rang you and all.
You rang me?
Yeah, I rang both of them.
Well, it must be slack tide at the minute, because it's not flowing at all. It's as still as a lake.
Just ever so gently lifting the float, just checking it in the flow, because it's flowing very, very little. It's hardly moving, so I'm just trying to lift that hook bait, lift the hook up, and let that maggot flutter back down in the flow. Just trying to entice a bite. Is there any better way than watching the float glide down the river? And what a morning.
I did that thing with the maggots, it's worked well.
Yeah, it does work well.
I thought I'd killed them this morning, but they're coming round now.
Wait, that's how bad.
Mind you, if you had your head in a plastic bag, you'd lay a bit dormant, wouldn't you?
It's not wrong, that's all we used to do. Put the big bin bag, tie them on the top.
Yeah.
They might be there for like 20 hours, time you get there. 25 hours, whatever, and they'll be fine. Give them an hour, they'll be fine. Yeah, take some. Oh, man. Maybe not.
Because they seeing things I can't see a boat. Here you are. The feeder's not even hitting the bottom. It's been in about 10 seconds. Oh, nice roach. You got worms? That's not a personal question. That sun's bright though, isn't it? Sun's bright.
Quick tip guys, when you're feeder fishing on the river or lake, anywhere really, it's imperative that you always have a good cast around with a bomb to start with. Find an area that's nice and clean, nice and smooth, silty or gravel, no weed. When you're happy with your line and your length, put the line behind the line clip and pick a far side marker, something that's not going to move like a boat or car or something permanent. You can cast that same spot every time. If you start splashing your bait here, there and everywhere, you won't locate the fish into one point. You must clip up.
That?
That weren't very warm this morning.
When I went out, it's 3 degrees. Car was solid, frozen.
Roach on it.
There's some nice roach in there. Where are you fishing? What line?
What?
What line are you fishing on?
What line was this on?
Yeah. No, as in how far out? Not what fishing line.
What?
Not what fishing line, how far out?
Oh, I might get that one. I'm just in front of that one.
You can have some of mine. I ain't going to use it all. It's only like half a tin's worth, but yeah, that's what I said. I weren't clipped up to start with. I just had a few casts and went over to where those white boats are over there. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
That's a bit hot.
What you got?
Look for me. Getting loose now. That's well. Two.
Alright, no, it's fish and shut. Bloody hell.
Lovely fish. Huh?
Oh, mint.
Yeah, they're lovely fish.
Missed that one.
Single red.
What's that?
Single red, that's all.
Yeah, just having a bit of worm on. I'm just loving the worm. Just a section of worm. Another nice roach. The worm is doing the business today. Well, I'm going to come off this because I literally can't. As soon as it's, well, they're taking it on the way down. It's not, sometimes not even settling. I'm going to go on the whip. Well, it must be slack tide at the minute because it's not flowing at all. It's as still as a lake.
Okay, when the conditions are like this, very little flow, best thing to do is very light strung out shot and pattern, just shirt button style, number 8s, shot or stop every foot all the way down the line. Leave a good 12 inches of hook length with no shot on it, and we'll just keep checking that float and get that hook bait and the hook length to flutter up and the maggots to flutter back down. You're just trying to entice a bite. You'll have time to inspect it.
But it's absolutely static at the minute. You in again?
No. Gone.
I've just come off it for a minute because the bites are getting a bit fast and raggy. Just let it settle down a bit.
Another fantastic roach. That light fluffy ground bait, that sweet fish mealy ground bait is working really well. I just feed them very little and often, a few casters and chop worm and a few pinkies. Fish are starting to feed really confidently now. Cut back the feed in the feeder, just enough for one fish at a time, and it's working absolutely perfectly.
It's quite the walk.
As far as there's no going out. Yeah. That's still holding up though, isn't it? Yep. No matter one of them sides where it doesn't go anywhere.
It hasn't gone down much today at all.
No.
No. So we'll have to make that call for the boys, I think. They do something magical.
Bit of extra ballast.
Yeah. Well, if I could borrow you guys to sit on the back, we'll be alright.
What's that for? Go under there. Oh, okay.
Because I'm using such a light shot and pattern and a nice, very light, delicate, strung out rig, I'm flicking the whip over my head. I'm trying to get that line to lie as straight as possible, and so it can flutter down naturally.
Norfolk Road.
Ah, yeah.
Ludham, isn't it? Ludham. Always meet him at the car park at Ludham. Ludham basically is the end of the kit.
Yeah. Breathe on.
Yeah, alright.
Now put 2 ropes. Oh, you bastard. Yeah. Sweet pull. Word. Now it's made a mess of the rig. My head is fairy. You had a bite? Put the other Put load of bait in. Put loads of bait in. You need a lot of feed. You need a... I'm on the whip. Yeah, just basically really light strung out. Just really light strung out shirt button style. Fishing it on the drop. Do you want to borrow a whip?
Huh?
Do you want to borrow one of the whips?
So what, borrow one of your whips?
Yeah, there's one here set up.
No, I'm alright actually, no, I'm fine. I'll stay
Lazy. You're lazy fisherman on the feeder.
What is lazy fishing?
Feeder fishing.
You've just been feeder fishing.
Yeah, but I was catching.
So it's lazy, you said that's lazy fishing. Oh, can't believe that.
I was getting a fishy chuck.
Yeah, I know, I'm going to get the green watch. I'm going in there, look. I'm going up there.
Where you go?
I'm going up there, look. What's up? What's he upsetting you, Glenn? What? What's he upsetting you again? Well, he didn't upset me. They said, fucking, you got to buy one of the whips. He said, well, I've got one set up here. I said, no, I'll stay on the feed. That'll be all right. He was lazy fishing that. I said, well, you just been on the fucking feed as well. I ain't got to fish for you no more. You upset me, Dan.
I'll let you fish over my line.
What?
Fish over where I was fishing. Big boat coming in.
Right, that's it.
What's that?
Yep, had enough.
Not enough.
Yep. No bring that today.
There's loads of bream here. There's loads. They'll turn up. They'll turn up. As soon as this sun and heat get on the water.
You think so, do you? Well, I hope you're right, but I think you're wrong. What about that?
I think you might be on to, well, you haven't done it yet, but earlier on you said go try a pellet, or I think that might be a winner.
I'm not going to try it.
You've got a few pellets and put a bandem on or pellet and sit and wait.
Yep.
If not, you'll get some decent roach.
Right, you buggers, let's have a look.
Right, one more fishy on the whip and then I'm going back on the feeder.
There's a little fishy on, a little fishy, there's a little fishy when the boat comes in. Lunch, little fishy thing.
Come on, Arlene. Go on,
boy.
go on, son.
Go on, go. Up you go. Pedal up.
You got
Oh,
bright.
boy.
He's got a bream on.
Yeah, it's all boy.
First man wins.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be.
Nah. Not till it's full. How big was the pike? Just a little jacky.
I don't know, I didn't see it, mate. I couldn't see it, I told you that. Morning. You're right, step over.
Yeah.
Fine. Thank you.
Morning.
Very much. Morning. Just checking the bridge that we can't get underneath. Surprise, surprise.
What's that?
What's that?
You wouldn't
sticking up for him.
He wouldn't do that. Explain yourself, Mr.
Saying nothing.
He wouldn't do that to me. I could get the boat if you bloody mess with me. Like my old grandfather used to say, never count the fish you catch, always count the fish you miss. And that's very true.
Yep. 30 years in a match.
Any type of fish.
Little electric boat.
Find me somebody to love, find me somebody to love, find me somebody to love. Beep, beep. Elsie, hello. That's what I'd have
Hello.
flown. Well, I got one with me, but I never used it.
Elsie, hi.
Putting me up.
I know, I heard her. Yeah. Sweet corn's doing the better rope.
I ain't got any, and I give them all away.
Oh, I've had a few. We all have. Yeah. Only small roach, but we don't have nothing. Still big ones yet, but what? Right.
You want it all, don't he?
Right.
You want it all, don't he?
Okay.
What's a bream of chuck?
All right
Yeah,
then.
what you want? £150 fish every time you kill fish.
Yeah, I'm going to get it on the way home. Yeah.
Came all done. It's a fantastic net of fish here. It's absolutely hundreds of fish. It was one a chuck all day long. Feed of the worm, middle of the river. Did the business for the decent roach. And on the 6 metre whip, loads and loads of roach and dace and perch. Fish a chuck. It's absolutely fishing its head off today. Anyone would be happy with a net of fish like that. Hard work,
Not a bad net of roach there.
but well worth the effort.
Took about £30.
Right guys, I'm all done back at the car. It's 1 o'clock. God, so warm. So there's only 11 degrees on here, but it feels a lot hotter in the sun. That was a decent quality bag of fish there. About £20, probably 20, £22, something like that. Loads of roach, a few perch, but yeah, the stamp of the fish was small today. There was, you know, anywhere from 1 ounce to 5 or 6 ounce, so you needed a lot. But there's a landing net full, an absolute landing net full, but all pretty much on the whip, or 5 and 6 metre. Strung out, shot and pattern, shirt bottom, just really light fall, was best all day. There's very little flow, and very little movement in tide. A couple of inches all day long. It's getting just as many on the feeder, but why go to the middle of the river and stick a load of ground bait in? And I always find silverfish bites, roach bites on the feeder a lot harder to hit. Takes you longer to get in, so why bother? And 3 of us didn't have one single skim or bream today. They just weren't there, and it doesn't matter how much bait you piled in on the feeder. It's just roach a chuck, roach a chuck, roach a chuck. So yeah, I thought, yeah, I'll just stick it out on the whip and fish a chuck all day long. Casters was probably the best bait, and wheat. Started to go a bit slow at the end, but yeah, it's coming up to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so you expect that. I started bagging a few better ones on maggot, and I started introducing maggot, but as soon as you did that, and obviously the perch arrived. So on the feeder, worm was brilliant today on the feeder. Very enjoyable day. It's just great to get out with some mates and have a bit of a laugh and a banter. So it's probably not really the best videos wise for the camera, Probably a bit more of just footage and fishing, but I am sort of going to arrange to meet up again, because I do enjoy getting out with mates and having a bit, but it's no good for filming. There's no point me trying to put a film together while I'm fishing with friends, because there's too much swearing and banter and joking and whatever going on, and you just, you know, it's rude not to be talking to the camera and you guys and this, that and the other. So anyway, next video I will be out pike fishing. Probably just going to go down to Colt Shore. I've taken a few baits, just half a dozen small roach that I've just dispatched, and I'll whack them in the freezer when I get home, and just for a couple of dead baits. But when I get to Colt Shore, I'll just take a whip and some maggots, see if I can catch a few live baits. But I've got some sardines and some mackerel and that in the freezer. So all the best, guys, tight lines. I'll see you again in another video. Cheerio.